other than consistency to get through the difficult times you're getting through. I think I've had two calls this week from two separate agents saying, I'm just dealing with emotional roller coasters right now. I just don't know if this is for me. And just hearing this over and over again, it makes me sad because there's a point in time where realtors start feeling that. And that's when they choose to get out or they choose to push through. And if they push through, they do amazing. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, I just got all this stuff coming in. Christy's got two buyers out of nowhere happening. Great job, Christy. Buyer, seller. I can't remember. Seller, buyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job. I mean, just it's the consistency that we think, and it does help if this isn't your like primary, it's not something that you have to do. Those that have to do it, every time I hear that, it scares me like, oh yeah, no, I have nothing else. This is my only thing. Well, great. How you planning to get there? Because it's typically a 3 month turnaround before you start to see things really starting to happen. You might get lucky, might get a relative, might get this, might get that, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, you have nothing for a long time because you never actually got into that consistent daily job mentality of I gotta work every day, gotta go to work. So tell me a little bit about what's going on right now with you. How is that consistency working out? And what are you doing to keep yourself motivated?
You talking to me or everybody in general?
Anybody, but you just spoke up. So guess what? You're first. Uh,
Well, right now I'm following the calendar you provided, and so as I go, I will change it to meet my needs because I don't
Perfect.
know what my needs are right now. I'm
That's what you're
just
supposed to
figuring
do.
it all out.
It'll put you to work, right? If you wanted to,
Yeah.
but if you need to modify it, you can modify it. But there's no excuse because for 8 weeks straight, it gives you work to do for 8 weeks straight, right? So
Yes.
you just have to, and you can modify those days if you need to, but you don't have to because it does have work to do each day. That's the whole reason for it. So many agents get into this and they just like don't know what to do. And it's like, well, all excited, but now I don't know what to do. Well, now you do. Right? So good, Christy. I like it. What about, so she's hitting it every day. So who else? What is something else that you're going through? What have you found the secret sauce to be for you?
There's that silence. I'm just going to sit silently until somebody speaks up.
That's what I'm doing. It's that
I don't
uncomfortable
know.
side.
I'm kind of feel like I'm in a little bit in the same boat as Christy, in terms of just trying to like get my feet under me and figure it out. And I feel like I have some things that are all I feel like need my attention now.
Mm,
And so I'm struggling to like time block and do the lead generation because it's taking me such a long time to do the things that I'm learning. And I see that like one of the things I learned is in the future, when I have a sign placed, my writer will go and I'll be able to go out and just stick a QR code up on it and like be done, right? I'm going to have gone out there 3 times because the sign was posted and I had to put my writer, and today I'm going out for the QR code. So it's just like all this extra time
yeah,
of learning
yeah.
how to
System,
make those processes shorter.
yeah, get those systems in place so you don't have to worry about doing them over and over again and whatnot. One is I'll tell you the QR codes are great. They're good. I think in my, to over 2,000 transactions closed, I want to say probably maybe 5 sign calls I've sold homes to. I
I don't
will go back in the day when we were doing a lot of flips and we were putting available soon signs on, and we were getting a lot more available soon sign calls. But these days, because of Zillow, Realtor.com, all these different things, they'll sit in front of a house and they won't call the sign, or they'll just let's look at Zillow.
You're absolutely right. Actually, that is so true because that's what I've done.
Yeah,
But in
you
this particular case,
did it yesterday.
the homeowner wanted a flyer, and I was like, I'm just not like that's just too old school. I'm not going to do a flyer. It doesn't make sense. It's too much maintenance. And so I offered the QR code. So that is appeasing her. It does nothing. The nice thing is, I did it through QR Code Monkey, and they have a free pro account, so I can track how many times it's scanned at least.
Nice.
And then it'll go to, I don't know if it'll track, if this will track, but the shareable link from Paragon,
Yeah.
that's what it's going to.
Takes them to the shareable link from Paragon. So it goes to Paragon. As long as it's going to your, not just Paragon unlogged in, like it's going to you. So you get alerted if you get a new lead through Paragon because it
So I
works.
don't, that's a good point. I don't exactly know how it works. What I did was I took the shareable link from the listing, and that's what I used. So it'll actually pull up like what I would send to you if I wanted you to see the property.
Yeah. So it'll pull up a little collaboration. So it is
Yeah.
your collaborated portal. It should work just fine. Good.
Okay.
Good, good. That's awesome. Yeah, that's killing it. So the QR code, how big is it?
11 and a half by 15. It's on a 11 and a half by 15 Duraflyer, and it says scan for more information on this property, and then it has
A sticker or or a sign, or is it just a piece of paper?
Duraflyer. So it'll double stick tape to the post.
Oh, got it, got it. Okay. Huh.
So it's weather.
You need to take a picture and send it. I want to see it.
Okay, I will do that.
You're gonna go out for the fourth time now. Go take a
I've
picture.
been out there so many times. I think I was out there two or three times before I ever even listed it.
Wow. I love it.
So,
I love because we've been talking a lot about the QR codes and maybe putting them on signs and stuff like that. That's a very prominent way. A lot of people have picked up decent business from that because there's a lot of people just have it's almost like I don't know what you call it. It's almost like they just can't handle it. So they got to scan the dang thing just to see what it says,
Well,
right?
I know that for people like my age and some youngsters, they like driving around to the houses and getting out, pulling those flyers. It's almost like a pastime to pull the flyers. So,
Yeah. I used to have one of the a listing years ago. A lady, she was a little bit older, and I'm not going to say ages, and she wanted it in the newspaper and swore that's how real estate sells. This was probably about 2016, 2017-ish, somewhere around there. And I said, okay, you want it in the newspaper? You got it. I spent 25 bucks to put it in the newspaper. That's how much it costs. I was like, wow, $25. Those newspapers must, they're saying they're not making money, but there's a lot of people putting ads in there still. 25 bucks, they only sell them for they sell them for like 4 or 5 bucks a newspaper. So 25 bucks to put an ad. I was like, wow. Anyway, I put it in the newspaper and then I sold it off, the MLS off of ZillowRealtor.com, whatever it was, sold it that way. But she wanted it, so she got it. So I mean, there are certain customers that want it a certain way, and you've got to give it to them the way they want it. But in the end, the marketing you do through digital marketing these days is what's going to sell it typically. I will say open houses, guys. Open houses need to be in your weekly portfolio of lead generation. My listing on Wilson in the city of Tulare just had 3 offers. 2 of them came from the open house. And the seller would not do open houses. Like literally, I've had this listing for almost 3 months and it has not sold. And we were trickling the price on this. And I kept trying to get the seller to let us do an open house, let us do an open house. And she didn't want us to do it. Finally, it's vacant now, so finally she agreed to let me do an open house, and I said, "Well, I'm going to do a lot. We're going to do 2 in one day, and I'm going to do another one on a Sunday." And so a couple agents wanted to do it, 2 in one day and one on Sunday. And my goodness, one of them said, "Can I do it again next week?" I think Wes might have been there with him. And yeah, we got 2 offers that came from people that went into the open house. So.
so there blows the theory that open houses don't sell houses.
Exactly. And it's like any lead generation has its peaks and curves and its valleys, peaks and valleys. And so for a while, open houses were a waste of time. And then it came back. Door knocking was a waste of time. During COVID, door knocking came back really fast because people weren't leaving their houses. But for a long time, it kind of slowed down where door knocking was It's always been a good one, but it wasn't as good as it really got during COVID. Open houses for a long time really got slow, but it was the type of market we were in. We were in a type of a market where it was a bit of a, I can't even remember, a bit of a sell must have been a pretty good seller's market about maybe 8 9 years ago, 8 years ago. It was coming out of COVID. I'm sorry, it was coming out of the crash. So it was probably more like 12, 15 years ago. Man, it's been a long time. And all of a sudden, door knocking got popular, really, really popular. Open houses got really slow. Now open houses are crazy busy again because there's a lot of pent-up demand. So it really changes. You can't say one lead source is better over the other. You got to do them all. And you just got to have segregated time of the week to do them. But yeah, open houses have been great. We've got I want to say like in the last month, I can think of about maybe 4 different escrows going on that came from open houses.
Can I ask a question about open houses? Because I've done several, and I would say I've had as many, if not more, where I had zero people show up.
Mhm.
Um, I have door knocked and had people show up, and I have door knocked and not had anybody show up.
Mhm.
Um, is there a best time of day, time of the week, days on market? Like, is there kind of a algorithm, if you will, that you can narrow down to say these are going to be better houses for an open house that if we're sitting in someone else's listing?
I'll say that there's 2 different thought patterns behind what you're just asking, the question you're asking right now. So I'll go over both. Number one, is there an area or a house that might have a better open house? Yes, because it just depends on the supply and demand and where it's listed. If this is a brand new listing on the market, when it's brand new on the market, you got to remember it's going to get the most action. So you have to do 2 open houses when it's brand new. That's the goal. 2 open houses when it first hits the market. Sometimes you can plan it like just as that's going active. So you're actually getting the signs out and you're door knocking the neighborhood and you're doing everything, brand new listing on the market, you're going to get a ton of people potentially. The next weekend should still be busy too, but after that it might slow down. Just depends on, the neighborhood. It's new, it's hot, it's the shiny thing right now. So you typically get a lot. And Zillow, Realtor.com's, even the MLS does a great job at making a big banner of open house scheduled this weekend. So you will get a good push. Number two, if you take a listing that's not doing very well in an open house and you market it to your sphere of influence really well, you market it to the neighborhood really well, and you do a specific thing where we ask a question to where we actually give an invitation and ask them, will you show up? There's a bigger chance of those people coming to the open house. Hi, it's Shawn Cardoza, Cardoza Real Estate Group. We have your neighbor's house up the street. It's your neighbor. We're holding a special open house. It's a special one. We're making a big deal out of this. It's huge. It's a special one. We know that ultimately a purchaser come from a friend or family in the neighborhood, so we're just curious. Do you know of anyone looking to move in the neighborhood that maybe they should get over and take a look? Here's the important part. Are you asking, will they swing by? Will you come? Will you come? I'm asking you, will you show up? You need a yes or no answer. If they say yes, then you ask them, by the way, I promised the seller I would ask this. Do you know of anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest? Our goal is to talk to people. So the open house is just the excuse. But if you are asking that question and giving that invite and making a big deal about it, excuse me, that's special, then there's a better chance of getting more people to show up to even a horrible home that's not, that you really shouldn't be wasting your time doing an open house on. If they say no, it's still the same question. You ask them. So that's an important thing to just find out if they'll come. You got to ask the question. But in the door knock, if we're just going and passing out flyers or just telling people, hey, I'm doing an open house this weekend. Here's a flyer. Hope you can make it. We never got a commitment. We never actually asked them, will you show up? Will you come? So it's a good thing to remember that our goal is to, we can't, we've got to lead them to the water. We can't just expect they're going to come and drink. We can't expect that they're gonna just show up and come drink the water. We gotta like lead them over to it. It's the whole horse. You can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink type of thing. But you get what I'm saying, right? You gotta like ask the question. I wasn't planning to go over all this today, but we can definitely jump into it. Some of you have heard this many times, so I promise you I'll make it quick. Those of you that heard it many times, because there's others that haven't heard it yet, and I want to make sure they hear it. So I'm going to share this one and just to talk about the open houses for a second and the
Are
importance.
you also sharing that to the chat?
I can throw it in the chat for you, yeah.
Thank you.
So literally, if we had segregated all these open house prospecting activities to a 5 day a week, just think about the potential of how many people you can get in your database and how many people you're going to talk to and how many people that could potentially show up to even the worst open house out there. If I segregate the first day, Monday, to past a mile away from the open house, or at least a mile out, not past a mile out, but past the initial streets, the street the open house is on, maybe one street to the right, maybe one street to the left. I save those for another day. But I just go a mile away, but don't hit those streets it's on. And the goal is to invite people to see what's available on the market and your level of service. And we're wanting them to visit the open house. So we got to ask the question, will you come? Find out people's plans about if they're planning to move in the future or not. We're asking those questions, and we want to get them to join your SOI. But now on Tuesday, we're going to hit those streets. So this might take you an hour. It might take you 2 hours, okay, to hit a mile away. This one might take you an hour, maybe even 45 minutes, because all you're hitting is the street the open house is on, or the listing is on, and then maybe one street on each side. Same thing, we want to show them our level of service, show them how we market, and we want to invite them to the open house, find out their plans to move, and get them in our SOI. Now we're going to hit our expireds. You can hit these two on one day. So how many expireds and for sale liners can you find within a mile of your open house? And we have a special flyer for them. And our job is to invite them to test my systems and service and see what's on the market. Same thing for sale by notice. That's why we say this would be Wednesday. I could do this in about 30 minutes to an hour. So there's 2, 3, 4 hours right there so far, and I'm only on Wednesday and I've only worked 4 hours so far. But my goal was to get people to see my service and who I am and what I do. This is a fun conversation because you're door knocking the for sale by owner expired, you're door knocking you're door knocking them and you're asking, hey, I'm doing an open house. I know yours was on the market. I know yours is on the market. You want to come check out what your competition is? Or do you want to do an open house at the same time and make me some flyers and I'll send some people your way? You send people my way. We'll kind of send people to each other. We call it an open house extravaganza, and we're sending people to each other. We do this on teams sometimes where we like say, okay, let's find all these open houses within a segregated area on our team, and each one of us go to different open houses. We're going to give away a prize at the end of the day. We're going to have tickets, and basically they got to get a ticket and fill it out and put the ticket in the bin in each open house. So we're sending people to these different open houses now around the area that our team members are all on. It's an open house extravaganza. We've done this during Halloween before, where we were all dressed up in Halloween costumes. And then at the end of the day, we gave away something fun, like a gift card to a fancy restaurant or something like that on social media. But we had so many people show up to our open house. But so that's kind of the same typical concept here, where we're doing it with expireds for sale by owners, where we're saying, hey, we'll send people to you, you send people to us. Here, you get me a flyer, I'll give you some flyers. You interested? Hey, I know you had yours on the market. You want to come see what they're selling for now and see how many people show up to this? Come visit me. Will you come visit me? Not just come visit me. Will you come visit me? Will you come check it out? That way you get to know them. They get to see how hard of a worker you are. Then you start getting conversations when they show up. Thursday, you're going to hit your SOI. Now you don't even have to get out of your seat. You can sit in your office, make all the calls to everybody you know that's in your cell phone that are within that city, and invite them to the open house. They can not be in that city, and I say, hey, do you know of anyone living in Visalia, California that maybe would be interested in coming and seeing this open house? If so, can I have their number and I'll give them a call and I'll invite them. Well, that's a very important one. You can easily, it might take you an hour to 2 hours, but you can call and have great conversations and invite all these people to your open house. What about current nurtures? Those are your like leads or the people that are going to be buying in the future. They need a day to call. And then your affiliates. Are you calling your home warranty companies? Are you calling your NHD companies? Are you calling your escrow officers, lenders, contractors? You name it. That's Friday. Now look at I just worked a whole work week. How many people did I just talk to? I would say I probably talked to 60 people, and it was less than 8 hours of work. 2 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour. So there's 4 hours, 5, 6 hours, maybe. 7, 8 hours, maybe. So we're about 8 hours or less. And I probably talked to 60 plus people. And how many people did I add to my database? Now, how many people are going to show up to my open house? If we do it right and we use the open house as the reason, technically we don't even have to do the open house. I just talked to 60 people in a week. Just use the open house as the excuse. And that's it.
And all of this applies to if it's not your listing, you're just doing the open house for somebody
Oh,
else.
totally.
Okay.
100%. Because think about this. I have this open house. I'm doing it for someone else. I'm door knocking the neighborhood. And my script is, hey, we're doing Jan and Jeff that own the house across the street that they're selling? Yeah. So we're doing a special open house for Jan and Jeff. We're trying to get a buyer and sell their house. Do you know of anyone that looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Are we? We have a thing called cooperative agreement between brokers. I could be doing a totally different company's open house, and we have a co-op where we're trying to cooperate and sell that. So we are trying to find a buyer for this house that Remax is selling. Totally.
Okay.
100%. 100%. All right, I'm going to share these with you in the group chat. There's that, and there's the script. Oops, trying to get
And
that.
I only asked that because I did an open house one time for another agent, and they did not want me to provide my own flyers with my information on it. They only wanted their information.
I would have said I will never do an open house for you again. Good
Yeah.
luck. Good luck selling your house and having a co-op with me. Expect
Yeah.
one of these days that agent, you're going to be a top agent. That agent's not going to be so top anymore. Maybe they're going to be wishing they had your help. It's a co-op. We help each other, but there are some agents out there that are choosing that will do that, that will choose
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
cooperate, help you. You should be using your own flyers. You should have your name on it and your favorite lender on there with you. Market update on there if you want, something like that, little snippet. You can do anything you want, but it's your open house. You're doing the open house. You're running it. Now, the sign isn't going to have your name on it, and that's
Right.
so we're not saying that this is my open house, but we are trying to find a buyer. You are trying to find a buyer for these listings that are on the market. That's the co-op we have with each broker. Very, very good questions. I love it. This comes from National Association of Realtors, and I shared this in the group chat as well. If you didn't get this, you'll have it. It's 179 ways agents who are realtors are worth every penny of their compensation. If you're looking for ways to show proof that you are worth what you do, there are 174 ways to show your value to your clients. There's a lot. I shared that in there for you, and you can take a look at that. Anyone have any trouble valuing properties lately? I just saw a message from Stacy a little while
I was
ago
just
valuing a property.
say,
Go back to it.
not a whole lot within the last 90 days in this particular area, and it's in Star, so it's small to begin with. The house is 20 years old. So my question was, is it better to go a mile and a half out to find a comp or 6 months out?
Here's the way I do it. Okay, so one is I start small and I have square footage, I have year of home within maybe 5 or 10 or maybe even 15 in there. I have bedrooms, bathrooms, maybe property size, especially if it's a country property of some sort, acreage, and I keep it small at first. But then I'll start expanding out. What an appraiser will do is they don't want to cross major streets if at all possible. but they will if they have to. They don't want to cross major streets. They don't want to go any farther than, say, a half mile out, but they'll go a mile if they have to. They'll go 15, 20, 30 miles if they have to. Depends on the property. If you got a mobile home, not on a permanent foundation or on a permanent foundation, and you need to find a mobile home on a permanent foundation, you can't use a stick house for a mobile home.
Right.
Right? I mean, you technically, that's all you have. You can, an appraiser will do a little equation on that, but nine times out of 10, they will look for a mobile home, even if it's like 20 towns over. And they're going to do some sort of equation to subtract for the distances. And so we do the same thing. So yeah, you can, I would start expanding first, keeping your year of home similar, keeping your neighborhood type. So if you get to know your neighborhoods, understand your neighborhoods in your general market, and that way you can know that, okay, so this Burwing subdivision is very similar to this subdivision over here by Lake Ridge, right? Or Spice or something like that, right? That could be a good one, that could not be. But getting to know your neighborhood, so if it's that type of tight-knit gated community, I need to look for a gated community somewhere around town. So to answer your question, yeah, I would start expanding out mile, but I would look for like properties. But then I'm gonna probably square it back up and I'm gonna start changing up some year of home, changing up the square footage a little more. I'm gonna play around with my expansion and retraction a little bit until I find the best three comps that I can find. You only need three. You don't need any more than three. If you have two, that's better than nothing. But three is a good number because that's a good valuation of what the neighborhood's doing. A lot of people are like, gosh, I only got three. That's all you want, really. If you get four, okay. If I have five, six, seven, or eight, that's too much. It's getting to be a bit much. I need to have three good comps to be able to value this property. And particularly the closer the better. So we really want to try to stay in that bubble. But if we have to start expanding out, we can. Now, this is another thing I do that I think is almost better than expanding out. Okay. Sometimes we got to do a little math. And so I'll go back farther older. So let's say you know the market increased 4% a year over the last 3 years. Okay. So 4%. So instead of spanning out your square footage, instead, I'm going to expand out my years and I'll go 1, 2, 3 years from now. Now, will an appraiser do that? Maybe, but most likely not. They'll find the comps. But for us realtors, we can actually say, okay, so I found the same exact property in my neighborhood that sold 3 years ago for $400,000. Okay, I know the market increased 4% year over year, so I'm going to take 400,000 times at 0.04, and I'm going to add that times 3 years. And so now I have somewhat of an idea on how the market increased the last 3 years. That makes sense? So you can do that. A lot of times I'll do that before I start expanding out my square footage. Look at older. So, but here's the thing, in the last 2 years, our properties didn't change much. If anything, some of them went down a little. So I would have no problem using the same exact comp that sold last year, a year ago, because most likely we're similar. We haven't changed much. So this has been a pretty stagnant last 2 year market. But that's not saying that's when an appraiser will do that, but that's what I've done because I can actually better judge where we've increased. And I've been near right on nailing it, like where we end up selling. Because remember, the important key thing is the value of a property is what a buyer and seller agreed to. That's market value. Market value isn't appraised value. Appraised value is totally different. What it appraised for is totally different. So we just have to find a projected number. I always like to find out what the seller's wish list is. Like, where would you like to sell it? Okay, so now this is what the market is saying it should sell for. But Mr. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the value of a property is what a buyer is willing to pay. And I can see that buyers have been paying this much in this area, but that doesn't mean a buyer's not going to pay that for years. So am I okay listening a little high? Yes, but as long as me and the seller, and I just had this call with the seller this morning in Visalia, California, and I said, so here's the deal, as long as we're on the same page, that we're going to reduce this every 7 to 10 days. 10 days, no showings, 10 showings, no offers, we reduce it. And they said, agreed. Said, okay, because I'm telling you it's worth 475. You want to list it at 505. So that means our first, and I already established the very first decrease is going to be $10,000. So the very first decrease in the first 7 to 10 days, we're decreasing at 10,000 down to 494,900. You said, okay, agreed. So I already have my first price reduction scheduled. Value of a property is what a buyer and seller agree to. That's market value. So we got to find that secret place. And then I always use the fishing. And that's dumb, but I do it anyway. It's like fishing. You just gotta throw the line in the water with some bait on it and see what you catch. And so if we're not catching anything, we got the wrong bait. We need to reduce the price and get some different bait on the line. And they always laugh at me because I'm a country boy from Layton. I do these weird things like that. So that answer your question, that helps Stacy a little bit. Kind of play around with it. Try to go back longer, older. See if you find the same exact model that might be 2 years old. Try to see if you can find that. If not, then yep, you got to start expanding that out a little bit. And it's okay to use the map.
I was going to ask you about that map feature because I really like that. I just, it doesn't always seem to play well with me. And so I probably don't understand it.
Okay, let's do this. So first thing first is I want to find my property. Okay. And this is a property I sold last year. It was my personal property. Okay, so there it is. So I know this is my neighborhood right here. So I'm going to go to my criteria. I'm going to set my stats first. I want to know what's active. I want to know what's sold. I want to know what's pending. Save it. I want to go down here and I need to change the date range because it's showing what's sold way back. So I'm going to hit that and change it to 6 months. Okay. So you can use that toggle. You don't have to put the dates in there. So you got 6 months, they got a year, they got 18 months, 24 months, everything. So I'm going to start with 6 months. I know that this property here was 2,800 or something like that. So I'm going to do 2,400 up to 3,000. And it was a 1970s house. So I'm just going to put 1964 to 1970. So now I have some stats in there. I'm down to about 71 total listings. Okay, I can do more. I can keep going. Oh, it was acreage. So let's say it was 0.71 of an acre up to 1.5 of an acre. Now I'm down to 7. Woo, I'm getting close. Okay, but they're going to be all over the place because I haven't established the location yet. So then I put the address right here, and it's going to give me a little flag. And as you see, I'm not having any listings that are popping up. I'm going to grab my little tools here, and I'm going to go pretty far because it's country property, it's acreage. So I'm going to go pretty big. Nothing. Okay, so now I need to go back and I can expand my years first. Go up to 1980. Just playing around with it, trying to find it. 1960. Spreading out my years because I would rather have the acreage, similar acreage. I'd rather have similar square footage, but I can't do in 2,000. Let's try doing 2 acres. Still nothing. Let's try doing 5 acres. Oops. 5 acres. There we go. Bam, I got 2. Okay. What happens if I lower this down? 70 back to 70s. Bam, I got 1. Okay, let's do 1975. I really like that too. So at least I know I'm close. All right, so now I can see what I have. And that's how I value properties. So I got 2, and they are all bigger acreage, so I know that I'm going to have to do a little equation. We're talking a 1.2 million and 960,000. There's actually one more listing in this area that we have on the market, so I don't know why that one didn't come up unless it's really older. So I do know of another listing because we have it on the market and we have it under contract right now. But there's 2 good solds. Okay. Now, if I had to, let's do this. I'm going to take this back down to 2 acres. Now I'm going to change it. I'm going to go back a year. Nothing. Okay. So it didn't help me much. So now I'm kind of just playing this game right here and it's going back and forth and I'm toggling things back and forth trying to find that year. Trying to find those comps. Like I said, 2 are okay. I'm all right with 2. 3 are better. 4 is good. 5 is getting to the point of being too much. If I get more than 5, I don't need them. That's too many. But I need sold comps. Pending and actives, So number one, actives are wishland. We wish it would sell. Number two is, okay, reality, but it's not sold yet, so it hasn't closed. Number three is full on reality that's sold, sold under contract. Expireds is what we call Never Never Land. And I got this from Brian Casellas. He's a great coach. Excellent, excellent coach. And he does really good listing presentations on YouTube. Definitely worth watching. But he
Pending, you can always call the listing agent and ask them how far into, how close they are to closing, the stats on it.
So I have one on the market that I'm getting ready to put on the market, and I actually have that up on my computer right now. I have two comps in the neighborhood. They're both pending, so I'm going to call them and see if they'll share. Usually they'll share if they're getting close to closing. If they just started, they usually won't, and that's because they don't want to give away all their cards. If it falls off the market, now they already told people what they were willing to take. So they usually won't tell you unless they're on the market. Unless they're about ready to close. All right. Any questions on that? How about this? I got some California people on here. You want me to jump over here to this one and show you how? Because there's also some Idaho people that, Flex MLS is Central California, but it's also Coeur d'Alene MLS. Coeur d'Alene uses Flex MLS as well. It's a great MLS. Very similar. I go to quick search. I go down here and change this. I want to know what's active on the market, pending, and closed. So I'm just going to choose all those. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to change, and my date automatically sets for 6 months back. I can change it to longer if I want. I want to know I could do bedrooms, bathrooms, but I'm more worried right now. Now, if it was a neighborhood, like I used country property right now. If we're talking a neighborhood of 3 and 4 bedroom homes, and I got 100 homes within an acre of land, I've got or 5 acres of land. I got 100 properties in there. I'm going to probably start putting in here bedrooms, bathrooms. Depends on what property you have. But when I have country property, I really don't care. I don't have a whole lot of options. So I'm going to show you guys real quick the one that I am getting ready to put on the market right now. I'll do that. And the address is on Parkwood. So those of you that are in California, I heard in the sales meeting yesterday, someone said, is it in a gated community? This one is. If it's gated community of Visalia, great property. If you guys are interested in hearing more, here you hit that little button right there. That pulls up that same thing. The address is 4024 Parkwood. And you have to go the city and the state. You don't have to put anything else other than the city and state. It's going to locate my property. So I know it's in this strategic little small gated community right here. So this is easy enough. Just put a little square around that. Bam. There it is. What do I got? One. But there's another one actually for sale right here that's sold or that's also pending, and it's in Fresno MLS. That's the bad part about California is your MLSs are so close, some people don't have access. But this is what I'm going to do is I actually know there's more. So I'm going to back this up to 1 full year and go to there. Now watch. Got 2 more. So now I can see them. And my client's property is a 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 2,000 square feet, but it's not a 2-story. So look very consistent. What do you think it's worth? I would say it's worth somewhere around 479, 475. My client's property is a 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 2,000 square feet or 1,900 square feet. So, and it's in a gated community. I mean, you talk about cookie cutter. It's hard to use price per square foot when valuing properties, because price per square foot, look how different it is. This one's a 2-story. Usually 2 stories sell for a higher price per square foot, but this one didn't. This one sold for 284, 249. I mean, that's way too. And now, if it's a cookie cutter neighborhood where most of the properties look exactly like this, they're all the same, all similar. Look at these two are fairly close. This 2-story is much lower, which is usually higher. That's unusual. Fairly close. So our price per square foot's looking a little better. If they're all the same properties, you can use price per square foot. But if they're not, older neighborhoods, different style homes. One's got a pool, one's got solar paid off, one's got granite countertops, one has Formica. Your price per square foots are going to be all jacked up. So you can't use price per square foot on situations like that. A lot of people will try to do it. Stay away from it. I highly suggest you stay away from price per square foot.
Shawn, why do two stories go for more? I thought they typically were lower price point.
You know, sometimes people pay a little higher price for them. They got separate living quarters upstairs and downstairs. I don't know. I've just seen in the history of it, it's always been a little higher, but right now I'm looking at lower and you're telling me you've seen lower. So I don't,
I
I,
was lower. I was told that single story houses typically. So if you're comping a two story and a single story, you're gonna deduct on the two story,
yeah.
right? You're gonna
I've
compensate.
seen it, I've seen it the other way, but I've seen it both ways too. So yeah, it's just, I guess the most important answer is look at it and see how far off it is. And your neighborhood might be different, might be the other way. So, but yeah, you want to take into consideration that I will say typically I've seen two-story houses selling for higher just over the years. This is just experience over the years. I've seen typically they sell higher. But then again, square footage is typically a little more on a two-story because you have more living space, same footprint or similar footprint. Sometimes they're smaller footprints because you're going up versus out. So I don't know, Stacy. It's a good question though. But I will say that they're off, as you can tell. It's off. This one in particular is in line with what you're saying. It's lower. So
Interesting.
it just has something to do with appeal. Some people don't want stairs. Some people want it all on one, so maybe they're paying more that way. That
Or
could
or
have shifted in the market too. I don't know.
yeah, or with the primary bedroom downstairs, that makes a difference as well. Or
Yeah.
with a two story, your primary is upstairs, which I think can
In my
be
my two-story, I live in a two-story now. On the master's upstairs. It's our own sanctuary. Nobody should be up there. Previous two stories I've owned, all the bedrooms were upstairs, even the laundry. I loved it. All of our living was upstairs. All of our sleeping, all of our laundry was all upstairs. So downstairs could always stay nice, and the kids would destroy the upstairs. So, I liked it. So yeah. Anyway, good questions, guys, today. I appreciate a little more masterminding back and forth. Good subjects. I hope this was helpful for you all. And everything I shared with you should be in the chat. Also, this is recorded onto YouTube, so this is will be immediately available for rewatching on the handle is at the trusted agent. So you can get on YouTube, look at the trusted agent, and you'll be able to get in there. Rewatch it. All right, guys. Have a good week. Let me know if you need anything.
Sean.
Thank
Welcome.
you.